This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And on the day that the York Revolution played their 25th or 2500th game since 2007, we come to you live from Wellspan Park here at Brooks Robinson Plaza. I am Gary Sutton, and welcome to the Gary Sutton Show. Morning magazine every weekday. Mark McKenzie here as well, and we are excited to be with you here on August 11th, 2026. Yes, we're into August already. Kids getting ready to start school again, and all's right with the world. All's right with the world. As we bring you all kinds of news this morning, the things you're talking about on Main Street of York County and Pennsylvania, and as Americans, we're talking about right here today. And we'll take you all over the place this morning here from 6 to 9, all brought to you by Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, and kindnessworldwide.org. You can text us throughout the show at 833-478-4729. And you can also answer our question of the day today at Gary Sutton Show. And the question, you can see the video there, and I'm going to start adding a few little things on video in the morning about, what else is going on throughout the day, so we'll make a little newsy kind of thing. But the question this morning has to do with vaccines, and the president coming out yesterday and basically signing an executive order about vaccines wouldn't be put out in one shot now. It might be put out over a series of like 3 to 5 shots over the course of the year. And the question is, who do you trust? Do you trust what we've been doing in the past on that, or do you trust President Trump? And the people who are working right now on that, like Robert Kennedy Jr. and people like that. That's a question we asked this morning right there on the show. You're welcome to put in your opinion. We do see the outbreak of measles a little bit more now, and some people are saying, well, herd immunity is not being gotten because, we're changing some of these things. Are we changing for the better, or are we changing for the worst? That's a question you can answer today at Gary Sutton Show. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and you could check those out this morning as well. So we got a great show for you today here, and lots going on. And today is National Milk Chocolate Day. Or is it? No, I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's one.
I just looked down here. I put the national days up on the wrong thing this morning, so it
happens.
I have to run over here very quickly and see. And I will tell you what it actually is today, because I do have the right things down, but in the wrong script. For example, today is National Presidential Joke Day. All right.
Which president starred in sci-fi movies?
I don't know.
Ronald Reagan.
Oh, Lord. And National Sons and Daughters Day.
Why was Herbert Hoover the best president?
I don't know.
Because he gave a damn.
24 days until the Labor Day weekend. 30 days until the NFL season really starts. I mean, the silly preseason stuff, but the real NFL season starts 30 days from today, and Mark will be hear the Angels singing again.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not looking forward to the opening day.
Oh, you're not?
Well,
why not?
It's a replay of the Super Bowl. I think they play the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, maybe they'll take them down this time.
Did you see the Seattle Seahawks?
I know. Yeah. Anyway.
And I'm sure they didn't get worse.
So with all of that having been said this morning, let's welcome in Mark McKenzie. Good morning, Mark.
All right, so we got a stupid food holiday today.
Oh, boy, I just right out of the
gate. National Raspberry Tart Day. Oh, come on. Who orders a raspberry tart?
I do.
You what?
Love.
Do you have any raspberry tarts today?
Oh, I didn't have any raspberry tarts today, but
oh, please.
No, but I'm just saying. If there were a raspberry tart around this morning, I would be chomping down on the custard and the raspberry. I love
Custard? No custard in a raspberry tart.
There's custard
In
in
a
my
raspberry
raspberry
tart?
tarts. Yes, there are. I mean, or if there's not, there should be.
All right.
All right. By God. I just got done eating a raspberry cookie last night. I bought them the other day. Where did I buy them? I bought some at a market somewhere. And these suckers have red raspberry inside a soft cookie shell. And I'm telling you what, they are good. I also like the raspberry Uncrustables, the peanut butter things you get. with
Laziest
raspberry
sandwich ever.
Oh, I love it. Just love
Cannot
it.
believe that
I'll eat them
that is a
frozen or
thing.
not. Yeah, I know. Uncrustables.
I eat the crust first.
Yeah, I know. I like the Uncrustables. I do. I also like crust. I also like crust on bread. So I go both ways. Well, I mean, I guess I'm bi-crustable.
There you go.
There it is.
It's Son and Daughter Day. It is annual medical checkup
If you
day.
think about it, we're all one of the two.
National Hip Hop Day.
Yeah.
We'll break dance in a minute. It's Play in the Sand Day.
Oh, okay.
And again, Presidential Joke Day, which U.S. president got the job online?
I don't know.
Abraham Lincoln. What? You don't like that?
No, well, no. But it's okay.
You sure?
I like to humor you. I like when you find these moments and you have to, and I just have to put up with them, and it's important, I guess.
Which president holds the
I could
record
also
for the
go home
shortest
and bang
term?
my hands into my drawer 10 times.
Which president holds the record for the shortest term? Grover Cleveland. Why? He was the 22nd president. Okay, moving on. We'll come back to that. Here
hope
are
not.
some events that have happened on this day. You might think August 11th is just nothing, but it is something. And we're going to prove it to you. On this date, August 11th, 1866, the world's first roller rink opened up in a very unlikely place.
Go ahead.
Newport, Rhode Island, of all places.
The first roll.
Playground of the rich initially.
Okay.
1874, on this date, Harry Parmalee patents the sprinkler head. And have you seen sprinkler heads these days? Man, they are amazing.
Talk about the ones that are outside.
No, I'm thinking the sprinkler head in your shower.
Oh, that. I've got a problem with my shower right
Do
now. And I tell you why. Because
Let's hear all
I
about
went in
it.
there. I'm serious. Somehow it got dirty or whatever over the last 25 years.
Well, probably all the waters build up the alkaline.
Well, and it's firing different ways. Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's what's happening. And so I have to put a new one on there.
That's why they're relatively easy to do.
Yeah, I know. Well, for most people, I'm not the most skilled.
I'm going to tell you, though, what you want. This is what you want.
Go
You
ahead.
want a shower head that moves.
Well, that's what I would prefer.
Yes.
And I don't have that right now in our downstairs
You
shower.
can find you should be able to get one once you screw it in, then you should be able to move the head left, right, up, down. That's what you want. You
know what
don't
I
want a
love?
static one.
I love the shower heads that feel like it's pouring buckets of water on you.
Yes.
That's one that's about the
think
size
that
of
was
a
Parmalee's-
manhole cover.
Oh, it wasn't that big, but
Well,
I
I'm
think
just saying.
that was Parmalee's
That's a
thing.
joke, by the way.
August 11th, 1896. A patent was issued to one Harvey Hubble for the electric light bulb socket, and we use it today.
Yes, we do.
He had the handy little pull chain, like you probably have them in your basin. So that's what happened
All
then.
because of Harvey.
On this date, 1909, Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Literally, SOS is used for the first time
There you go.
by an American ship. SS Arapaho must have been in trouble. On this date, big day for my buddy Jeff. 1919, the Green Bay Packers were founded by Curly Lambeau and
Yes.
George Calhoun. They were named after they were sponsored by the Indian Packing Company.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, it was a meat packer.
Yeah.
On this date, 1944, jumping ahead, 4 members of the James Cosin family were killed when a U.S. Air Force plane accidentally dropped 3 bombs on their home in Dundefanaki Springs, Florida. I've never seen that name, but anyway, yes, can you imagine that?
Dropped
Friendly
a
fire.
bomb in their home.
3 of them.
Unbelievable.
You know, it was that hill over there. On this date,
You wonder, you have to go back there and you have to say, okay, well, what prompted that? How bad that'd be an interesting
maybe they
story
were
to hear.
training.
Well, I'm sure they were. I mean, I'm
Yes.
just saying. I wonder how do you
Mistakes happen.
mistake something like that?
Humans,
Well, I know,
yes.
but I'm just saying it's.
On this date, 1945, Allies refuse Japan's initial offer to surrender. They had one condition. They wanted the Emperor Hirohito to retain his status.
Yeah.
U.S. said no.
Yeah.
They would correct that momentarily. On this date, 1951, the first televised baseball game in color airs in New York City, WCBS. Boston Braves beat the Dodgers. It was 8-1. On this date, jumping way ahead, 1965, the Watts riots begin in Southeast L.A.
A lot of people remember that.
Last about a week. On this date in 1968, the Beatles launch Apple Records. And, if you had an early James Taylor album or some of the early other Beatles albums, you remember Apple. On this date, 1968, Satchel Paige, who was 62, they think.
We keep mentioning him every week.
He's kind of an interesting guy.
Yeah, he is.
And it is just in these days. You watch, when December rolls around, he's not going to be mentioned. Satchel Paige, they think he was 62, needed 158 days on a Major League Baseball payroll to qualify for a pension, but he didn't have it. So the Atlanta Braves signed him. Now, he didn't pitch. He became a coach, but he earned those 158 days so that he could get a pension.
Yep.
1971, on this date, August 11th, they began construction on the Louisiana Superdome. That's a crazy building.
Remember that during the hurricane
Yes,
down there? Yeah.
That's why one of the
People
reasons
who
why I
died in
mentioned
there.
it.
Yeah, it was pretty
It
bad.
certainly wouldn't be because of the Saints.
No.
On this date, 1973, a new guy. He had directed one other movie. I think it was called THX 1183. I might be wrong. I think I'm wrong on the number. But anyway, this guy had made a movie, and now he's got a little bit bigger budget, and it opened in cinemas across the United States. Maybe you heard of it. It was called American Graffiti, which basically was Happy Days.
Yeah, exactly right.
Cindy Williams was in it. Ron Howard was in it. Not Ron Howard? Not Dustin Hoffman. Gosh, Richard Dreyfuss. God, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, moving on. But it was essentially the same. 1984, during a radio voice test, U.S. President Ronald Reagan jokes that he signed legislation that would outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Presidential joke day.
Created a little stir. On this
just
date,
a little bit.
in 1988,
Now it's like a normal conversation you have every day, isn't it? Yeah, we bombing them.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Yeah. 1988, August 11th, Al Qaeda is formed.
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden, Ayman al-Zawahiri, and Dr. Fadl in Peshawar, Pakistan meet and form Al Qaeda. It was on this date, 2008, Airbnb is founded. In 2016, on this date, Michael Phelps wins the men's 200-meter individual medley at the Rio Olympics, and he became the third athlete, but the first swimmer to win 4 consecutive Olympic game medals in one event. That's domination.
I would say.
When you can win that 4 Olympics in a row, and they're only once every 4 years, that's incredible. Only 2 more to go. On this date, in 2022, Attorney General Merrick Garland says he personally approves the FBI search of Donald Trump's property on the same day that a Washington Post source says the FBI search is for missing documents on nuclear weapons. And of course, Jack Smith, a special investigator, had put together a case for this, but when Trump got reelected, then that kind of made the case moot, so it went away. And finally, on this date, 1 year ago, the U.S. Congressional Budget Office estimated that the One Big Beautiful Bill will result in budget deficit increases totaling $3.4 trillion over the next 10 years. And that adds up from a decrease in direct spending, so a spending cut of $1.1 trillion, and a decrease in revenues of $4.5 trillion.
That was deeper, but also 12 years ago, Robin Williams found dead on this date,
Yes.
hung himself. He was
I was gonna
63.
mention that later.
And he suffered from something called Lewy body disease, Lewey. I think you say it Louis or Louis.
Lewy body.
Yeah, which I had not ever heard of, and I was looking it up.
Yeah.
A progressive brain disorder caused by abnormal protein deposits called Lewy bodies
What if you
that
knew?
damage nerve cells.
What if you knew that you had a fatal disease? I mean, that would I would imagine that would make you depressed, right?
Yeah, well, it apparently this affects thinking, movement, mood, and behavior, commonly causing visual hallucinations, fluctuating alertness, and movement stiffness, similar to Parkinson's disease. So, I mean, you talk about something that sounds pretty horrible. This is it.
And then you know when you have Parkinson, things is slowly degenerating, and you know it's coming. How about let's one more quickie. Which U.S. president bought the most gasoline?
I don't know.
Millard Fillmore.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. The 5 things that nobody reads the instructional manuals for. We'll tell you about that, plus more, all here on the Gary Sutton Show. It is a Tuesday morning right here on WOYK. welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on a Tuesday morning.
It's time for birthdays.
Well, it's time for my story.
Oh, what's the story?
Because that's the one I teased going to break.
Yeah, what's the story?
Yeah, the top 5 things that nobody reads the instructional manuals for. Now, for guys, that's just anything. Yeah, we don't read the instruction manuals for anything, I don't think. My wife treats instructional manuals like they're War and Peace. She'll sit down. She has a book club she's in. I swear to heavens, they probably read the instructional manuals. But she loves instructional manuals. But the top 5 things that nobody reads the instructional manuals for example, hair dryers. I mean, for example, if you need a manual to tell you not to use it in the bathtub, the world's probably better off without you. If there are just some things that you just really don't. How about a Tesla? I mean, it's simple to drive people. Step 1, open the door. Step 2, get inside. Step 3, drive it until it explodes. That would be the Tesla. Office chairs. I mean, the fun of owning one is spending 5 hours fumbling with all those levers under your butt until you reach eye level with your computer. I have that all the time with this one, and just constantly it goes down, and you have to put it back up. It goes down, put it back up. Big mouth Billy Bass. You ever see one of those?
Yes.
The less time you spend reading an instructional manual, the more time you spend enjoying pure hilarity, huh?
Batteries in, batteries out.
There it is. Thank you very much. Coffee machines. As long as you know where to put all those K-cups you stole from work, you're gold. I mean, that's really it. A swing set. Remember the swing sets? Who cares if it collapses while your kid's playing on it? It will give you this generation of much-needed toughening up. So you don't get it together right. Kids, hey, what's a scrape? Back teen, move on. And finally, an electric toothbrush. Just insert the part that vibrates.
Yes.
Wait, that didn't sound right. No, anyway, there you go. A couple things, just little funny things this morning there with things that nobody reads the instructional manuals for. And so birthdays today.
Now we're going back to birthday. This guy here, I don't know if you remember him.
I do. I didn't like this song.
Oh, is it on the list?
Well, yeah, it would be.
I mean, it is an up-tempo, but it's not loud up-tempo.
It's one of those songs that it seems like goes on forever.
It's Joe Jackson. He is 72 today. Yeah. Chris Hemsworth is 43. He's Thor, I believe. Joe Rogan, podcaster, 59. There's a guy. Who would have ever imagined? I mean, remember when he was the host of
that Afraid show?
Fear Factor?
Yeah, Fear Factor. Oh, my gosh. That was unbelievable. And I thought about that, Of course, then I also thought about the fact that Jimmy Kimmel was the host of The Man Show.
Right.
Co-host of The Man Show with Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where these guys came from is amazing.
So never give up. Never give up. Mm-hmm. Never give up your dream. Viola Davis is 61.
Great actress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this guy, I know you know him. Well, I don't know about you, but most people, if they saw a picture of this guy, they would know who he is. I had up until today, right now, had never heard this guy's name, spoken, written, anything. Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Yeah, no. See, you never heard of it. He's 82 today, but
why do we care about him?
He is one of the biggest villains in movie history.
Oh, really?
Yes. He is the Emperor / Darth Sidious. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, yes, in Star Wars.
Wow,
he's in the later ones.
I know who he is. I mean, he was kind of evil. He's kind of like this little despicable
and he's
man.
got the if you remember the hood over him, right? So you can't see, but you can sort of tell. That looks like Palpatine in there, and it was.
Well, he's the only guy that Darth Vader's kind of afraid of.
Really?
Really.
And I think didn't he choke Darth Vader at one point. Like Vader used to choke some of the crew people. I think he got choked by.
Maybe that's why he couldn't breathe right now.
That could be. Yes. Too many choking out.
Too many choking things for the Emperor.
Ian is 82 today. You never see him in anything else.
No, I can't recall ever seeing him in anything else, but not that it really mattered. And
anyway,
there you go. So those are birthdays for today.
Yep.
Well, I'll save this. I'll save this so we come back. But the end of an era. It's the end of another era. Now, do you remember when Coke changed its formula and the outcry
1985
from the country? Well, another has changed its formula, and I wonder if there's going to be an outcry. I tend to think not, but I'm going to share that with you when we come back. It's the end of an era, and yet another thing that we drink. And we'll tell you all about that when we come back here on the Gary Sutton Show. Plus, what is going on in the world today in Pennsylvania and York County. We'll get all that up there for you when we come back here on the Gary Sutton Show at 6:30 on a Tuesday morning. Good song.
Rick Astley.
Yeah.
We're no strangers to love.
His voice didn't seem to match his.
You know what? It's amazing you said that because I absolutely agree with you. I was thinking exactly the same thing. It's frightening. That, yeah, I mean, just.
Do you think that's what attracted people to him initially? I mean, a clean-cut guy and all,
but then this big, deep voice comes out. He looks like Opie, and I mean, you know, you think of Denny, and then all of a sudden this voice comes out, and you go, "Wow!" I mean, pretty incredible. You know, we were talking about the vaccinations And President Trump signed an order yesterday on childhood vaccinations. It was an executive order laying out new recommendations for childhood vaccinations. And during his remarks, he mentioned that autism, this is one of the things he's been on, autism had a role in the guidance. Now, I have not seen any big medical stuff to back this up so far, but the president, again, seems kind of fixated on this. The order recommends limiting the number of vaccines recommended for children and splitting vaccines into tiers so that some are recommended for all children and others would be advised for children considered to be at higher risk. Shots against RSV and hepatitis A and B are examples of vaccinations that would just be recommended for high-risk children, high risk, I guess, for autism, according to the order. It also suggests that the measles, mumps, and rubella shot, known as MMR, should be given as 3 separate shots, and that when possible, children should be vaccinated in separate visits. Those vaccines are not currently on the market in the United States as separate shots. You get it all at one shot like we used to. The recommendations would upend decades of federal guidance on which vaccines are administered to children, such as just as the school year is about to begin in many states. Now, the American Academy of Pediatrics called the order, quote, disheartening and dangerous in a statement issued later Monday. So that's the other point of view on this one. The executive order obtained by CBS News before the president signed it also directed the Health and Human Services Department to reassess vaccine sequencing and timing within 90 days. The order didn't mention autism, but the president did repeatedly. And so the president's signing that yesterday. And the president did say decades ago, children received only a small fraction of the vaccines required today. In those times, people were much healthier. And of course, the high rates of autism now observed did not exist, said the president. So there's a reason for such epidemic rates of autism, and we're going to bring it back to much closer to where it was, quote unquote. So that was the president yesterday in signing this thing. And we'll see where it goes. That was our question this morning, by the way. Who do you trust more, the president and RFK Jr., or do you trust what has gone on in the past? There you go. Mark?
Well, I have a presidential joke. I don't know. Apparently, the CEO of IKEA has been elected president in Sweden.
Yeah.
And they say he'll have his cabinet done in about a week.
That's great. Yeah. IKEA, cabinet, building, yeah. By the way, what do gas prices look like in South Central Pennsylvania this week? We thought we'd take a look at that for you and give you a little bit of help on that. For example, the average price of gasoline has fallen over the past week, but the majority of drivers are still contending with averages near $4 per gallon. That specifically holds true here in Pennsylvania. According to data from Gas Buddy, the average price of gas is currently $4.10 among reporting stations in the Keystone State, in comparison to the national average of $3.96 going into this week. Across central Pennsylvania, South Central Pennsylvania, prices are varied widely. For example, Harrisburg prices for regular fuel have fallen 9.7 cents in the last week per Gas Buddy, but averages remain at $4.02 per gallon as of yesterday. Now, the lowest reported price in Harrisburg, as well as Dauphin County as a whole, was $3.75 at the Sunoco on Front Street. Lancaster City's averages are 8 cents higher at $4.10, with York, our hometown here, coming in at $4.09. Statewide, the bulk of the top 10 cheapest gas prices are largely in Danville and Lewisburg, in the range of $3.59 to $3.60 per gallon. What are they doing? Holy smoke. Only one station in South Central Pennsylvania cracked the top 10. Sam's Club on Wilson Avenue in Hanover, an average of $3.65 per gallon. The Walmart on Lehman Street in Lebanon was just outside the top 10 at $3.66. So there you go. Just a little bit about what they look like. Most of what I've seen has been somewhere anywhere between $3.99 to $4.09 has kind of been the range I've seen. Yeah.
$4.09, yeah.
Right.
The among the other big stories is this one.
The winning numbers from Monday night's drawing were 6, 37, 54, 55, 64, and the Powerball was 10. A winning $2 million Match 5 Power Play ticket was sold in Tennessee, and 2 $1 million tickets that match 5 numbers but not the Powerball were sold in California and Maryland. including a ticket sold at a 7-Eleven on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. The jackpot for Wednesday night now grows to at least $975 million, where a winner could choose a lump sum cash option of about $422.4 million. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
So 422, so that would be 40, 80, 120. So it'd be about $300 million after taxes.
You get to keep. I did see one ticket sold in Tennessee. It matched all 5 white balls and included the power play option to win $2 million. 2 other tickets each won $1 million by matching the 5 white numbers. Those tickets were sold in California and Maryland. But the $975 million jackpot will be up for grabs in the next drawing, which I guess is scheduled for tomorrow, right?
Monday, Wednesday, Saturday?
Yeah, so tomorrow's Wednesday, so that's it. It's done tomorrow. Monday's drawing was the 43rd in a row in search of a winner, according to the Multi-State Lottery Association, which administers the game. So if a player matches, if a player matches all 5 white balls and the red Powerball on Wednesday, they can choose between an annuitized prize estimated at $929 million paid out over 30 years, or the lump sum payment estimated at $402.4 million.
Oh, 120. So
million,
it'll be right around 300.
Nobody's won the grand prize, by the way, in more than 3 months since 2 players of Florida and Texas split.
It's hard to do.
$20 million prize on May 2nd. Yeah.
I have bought. I bought 7 set of numbers on Saturday for the last night's drawing. No, one on for Friday. That's Saturday night's drawing, and then 7 more for last night's drawing. So I played like the Powerball and some other options. So each one was $3.
And you've proven how hard it is to do because you haven't won.
Not only that, out of all those numbers, I have only gotten one.
Oh Lord!
Once.
And you
That's
keep
it.
on playing,
Well, I mean, it is.
But it's fun.
It's entertainment.
If you can't play, you can't win if you can't play.
It's entertainment. What would you do if you had that amount of money?
And it's a momentary thing.
And I'm really good at thinking about planning, and there'd be different things, different ways to go.
And the Powerball drawings are held every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 10:59 p.m. Eastern Time. There you go. So a little excitement there, right, as Mark gets ready to show again how hard it is to win. By the way, a lot of you may have been reading about Jackie, the California bald eagle, who became an internet sensation. Jackie has passed away. Yeah, Big Bear Lake, California. Very sad. Yeah, the bald eagle who became an international sensation, a symbol of the species recovery in California, died Monday after being treated for an illness at a veterinary facility. Her caretakers announced for more than a decade. Nature lovers watched via online video feed as Jackie and her partner Shadow tended to their nest each year atop trees near Big Bear Lake in the San Bernardino Mountains east of Los Angeles. And so now Jackie has passed away. We have an eagle's nest out at the Regents Glen Country Club right over our 18th hole, and they come back every year. It's amazing to watch. And it's amazing to watch the babies grow up. They're standing up there and they're practicing their flight. But the baby eagles, I don't know how many people know that, are jet black. They are very big black birds. But they built this nest up there. I swear to heavens, I could live in it. I mean, this thing is so woven together and so big. Every year you see it, and it's really really kind of a cool thing to watch the eagles go back and forth there.
So you probably heard stories about how hot it is in Europe. It's been very, very hot. Well, now it's no longer just in Europe.
Most everyone in the nation knows it's been hot, but perhaps we didn't realize exactly how hot it's been. NOAA has crunched the numbers, finding that the average temperature in the lower 48 was 76.9 degrees last month. That's more than 3 degrees above the 20th century average, making it the warmest month on record. But not everyone suffered from heat last month. NOAA says it was unusually cool in Alaska. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Well, that's good news.
And one of the oddest stories that you probably maybe heard overnight, or maybe you didn't hear, is President Trump secretly flew out of last month's NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, on an alternate military aircraft, while the White House made it appear that the President Trump was flying on Air Force One. According to a report published by the Washington Post yesterday, the Post said that the operation was prompted by an Iranian assassination threat against President Trump. The ruse was carried out as journalists and some White House staff members were led to believe they were on the same plane as the president as he began his journey back to Washington from the annual gathering of NATO country leaders. The Post cited material reviewed by the newspaper, a U.S. official familiar with the operation and another person with knowledge of the president's travel said. The Associated Press has not independently confirmed the report. President Trump had flown to the summit in a new Qatari gifted and retrofitted white, red, and blue navy blue jet. But ahead of departing Turkey, he would fly partway home on an older model baby blue Air Force One plane instead. The president at the time said the new luxury jet was being flown out ahead of his departure from Ankara to give some U.S. troops based on eastern England a chance to check out the new Air Force One. In Ankara, Trump boarded the old Air Force One jumbo jet in view of television cameras ahead of the plane flying to Royal Air Force Mildenhall in the United Kingdom.
And New York Times had broken that part of the story earlier, and he got real mad, and I think he might even have subpoenaed or did something, which has been withdrawn since then. And now this story adds more meat to the bone, so to speak.
Yeah. Apparently, after he boarded the old Legacy Air Force One, he was secretly shuttled minutes later to a smaller plane, an Air Force C-32A.
And a cargo...
Via a catering truck.
Yes.
An airport catering truck typically used to load meals and other supplies. Trump flew to Mildenhall on that smaller jet. The White House did not respond directly to questions about the Post report of the secret operation to ask Trump or to whisk Trump out of the country and on a third aircraft or the reported elaborate ruse to make it appear he was on the baby blue Air Force One jet flying to Mildenhall. So there you go. So interesting story this morning that was broken yesterday by the New York Times.
Coming up after the break, Florida's a different kind of state. Mm-hmm. Okay, we know this. But and these guys, they had the goal was simple, but not the way they planned it. And that's why they got arrested.
We'll also tell you about what happened in Colombia with the 7.4 earthquake. Over 100 people killed so far. And we'll get you updated on that out of Bogota, Colombia. All straight ahead, right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
I don't know why I like it. I just do.
Little Whitney Houston coming back.
1988 bumper music. Should be around for a little while.
She was very, very good. And again, someone who left us far too early. Lived kind of a tough life later on. Man. Yeah. But she had some great songs. Oh, she was really good. Anyway, big doings there in Colombia. Search and rescue efforts were underway today in dozens of cities and towns in western Colombia after a powerful earthquake struck the region, killing at least 111 people and leaving many trapped under the debris of damaged and destroyed buildings. Monday's 7.4 magnitude earthquake rattled Cali, Quibdó, Pereira, and numerous other towns and cities. Around 1,600 buildings were reported damaged or collapsed. Soldiers, rescue personnel, families picked through the rubble, removing and passing large pieces of concrete by hand down lines of volunteers to try to find people who were trapped. President Abelardo de la Espriella said Monday afternoon at least 111 people had died. Families posted information about missing loved ones on citizen-run websites. By Monday night, more than 2,700 people have been reported missing. And so they're being looked for right now. But yeah, this a terrible earthquake there in Colombia, 7.4 magnitude. And the local authorities said 80% of El Cairo, a town of about 7,000 people, was damaged. Zamora said she worried because her uncle lived in a traditional but fragile house made of sticks and mud. Again, you can imagine what an earthquake would do to any house, but imagine a house made of sticks and mud and what happens there.
Have you seen any of the videos?
Oh, yeah.
Some old churches, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
On a somewhat lighter note, these guys, they had an idea, and I don't know what else they could have done, but they shouldn't have done this. They took mothballs and scattered them on a beach. Not a good idea.
The problem started in late April when beachgoers noticed around 1,000 mothballs behind the Plaza Beach Hotel on the white sand on St. Pete Beach in St. Petersburg, Florida. The balls contained pesticides and were placed in an area where endangered shorebirds known as black skimmers were trying to establish a nesting colony. The investigation led police to Christopher Monroe, the owner of Chris's Beachside Bar, and Robert Sizan, the owner of the Plaza Beach Hotel. The two allegedly hatched the plan to use the mothballs to deter the birds out of a fear of lost revenue. The pair were charged with illegal dumping, a third-degree felony, and if convicted, face up to 5 years of probation. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News.
Interesting. Today, by the way, marks the anniversary of the first federal prisoners arriving at Alcatraz Island. Alcatraz, by the way, Alcatraz means Island of the Birds, which it is. And they used to say, well, the birds would be like the biggest alarm system there if someone was trying to get onto the island or off the island. But a former military prison in San Francisco Bay, the island would be home to over 1,500 prisoners over the next 29 years, including gangsters Al Capone and James Whitey Bulger before the prison actually closed in 1963.
His first time.
Yeah.
Bulger's first time.
Right. So there you go. So that was I've been to Alcatraz. I've been inside the cells there. I've been inside the facility. I tell you what, it is as foreboding a place as you've ever wanted to see. Just kind of crazy. And when they put you inside one of those, what are the cells where they close everything up? I forget what the name is. Isolated
confinement. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you what,
solitary.
Yeah. Get me out of there. But they actually had a thing there. I talked about it before, where they have a cleanup thing, and I don't know if they still have it because it was back in 1991. They had a cleanup contest out in California. And different cities would have cleanup contests for their neighborhoods. And when we were leaving the island, there were a bunch of kids there having like a hot dog roast. And the National Park Service was there with them. And so I'm standing next to this National Park ranger on the boat as we're getting off Alcatraz to come back to San Francisco. And I said, what's that about? He goes, well, he said, they have these cleanup things. And he said, what happens is if you win, you get to come to Alcatraz. I said, if you win, you come to Alcatraz? He said, yeah. He said, they clean up the island. And he said, and then they could go up and pick out their cell and stay overnight. I said, really? That's winning? But yeah, I mean, I guess for some people, staying overnight. But they used to say about Alcatraz, the most horrible thing about Alcatraz was that the prisoners could hear the sounds of the city, but obviously couldn't do anything about it. They were imprisoned there at Alcatraz. And so hearing the sounds of civilization that close, within a mile, and then not being able to do anything about it was pretty horrible.
So the fear of artificial intelligence, a lot of people have it, losing jobs. How might it impact our lives negatively? And a lot of people automatically assume that. But wait, the voice of reason is spoken.
Okay.
Yes, Mark Zuckerberg says there's no need to be afraid.
The Meta CEO says the biggest risk is having one company or government that has too much power over the technology. Zuckerberg also announced Meta is launching a $1 billion called the Future is for Everyone Fund to support communities where the tech company owns and operates data centers.
To invest in the community's teachers, first responders, energy and water infrastructure, and more ways to support those communities directly.
Meta says it will open source its most powerful AI models and launch new ones designed for consumer devices. And the push for open source models is seen as a pretty thinly veiled swipe at OpenAI and Anthropic, who offer mostly AI models that are closed.
So, how does that make you feel?
Not that good.
No?
No.
You don't trust him?
No. I don't trust anybody anymore. I really don't. I've gotten to the point where someone says the sun's yellow, I will run outside and check before I say yeah, especially if it's a politician. Yeah.
So when the Boston Tea Party, how about a couple of things that you probably didn't know, but you could easily bring up in conversation, maybe even win a bar bet, that kind of thing. The Boston Tea Party, 1773, destroyed 92,000 pounds of tea.
Yes.
How much is that worth today?
I don't even begin to think about that. I have no idea.
It is a little over $1.7 million. So that was
that was a lot back then.
Grand theft, kind of, yes.
Well, and for at that time, it wasn't even so much the amount of money as it was the act itself. Just saying, we don't care what you want, and it was this standing up to the British that they really didn't like. And of course, then after that, they came in with what was known as the Intolerable Acts, so the coercive acts to force Boston into submission, because they were so unbelievable. Sam Adams helped to lead that raid and put that together. He was kind of like he's called the father of the American Revolution, and he was kind of like this belligerent, hell-raising kind of guy, and cousin of John Adams, by the way. Sam Adams, by the way, they did not put him on the delegation when Massachusetts sent that to the Continental Congress. Sam Adams was left at home because he was just, he was a wild guy.
I don't know if you've seen this on your feeds for Facebook and other social media, but there's this picture of, it says, if you look closely at the picture, those are zebras. They're not donkeys, because it looks like donkeys walking. And when you zoom in on it, you see that it is, in fact, zebras, and that's their shadow. Zebras have stripes to keep them cool. Interestingly, they graze longer than other animals, so they're out in the sun longer. So the stripes actually help them regulate their body temperature.
By the way, I never did get to the story about the end of an era. 7-Up changed their formula. They're no longer a lemon lime soda. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Now it will no longer be a lemon lime soda. Instead, it'll be a lime lemon soda. Okay. We'll tell you more about that later on here on the Gary Sutton Show. James Sanders is up next. He's got a great story about an app that you'll want to hear, all here on WOYK, where it is 7 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
We feel like that all the time here. We're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah, the shark's crawling up on the back and about to eat you. And, that's the way we operate every day. This is the Gary Sutton Show, and welcome to a Tuesday morning edition here of our morning magazine. Every weekday, right here, 6 to 9 on WOYK, live from Brooks Robinson Plaza at Wellspan Park. Reb's out of town this week, by the way, in a huge series with Long Island. In Long Island, and starts tonight. By the way, tonight is the 2,500th game that the Revolution have played since 2007. Little note there for you. Darryl will have that tonight. I'm sure he'll be mentioning that at 6:15 when he comes on air, 6:35 first pitch, as the Revs 4.5 game lead over Long Island starting the night. So obviously a huge series with the second place team. After that, I think it drops off like 6 games before you get to another team that's even close to the Revs. So this is the big one. This is the big one. And 6 games starting tonight, going through the weekend. So stay tuned tonight and root the Revs on to victory here on WOYK. Our presenting sponsors, Kindness Worldwide. What are you doing to make this a better place today in the world? To bring more kindness into your sphere of influence, whatever that might be. Check them out at kindnessworldwide.org. And Einstein and Sparler, attorneys at law for all your legal needs. Or if you need legal representation, Einstein and Sparler has been doing that for York since 1937. They're reaching out to the main streets of York and York County, to regular folk who are walking off the street who need help, maybe as estate planning or estate administration. All of us are going to come across that at some point in time. Family law, business law, for example, elder law, municipal law, even military law. Einstein and Sparler is your stop to make. And they're at 117 East Market Street right here in York. 717-846-8811 is their number. You can stop there Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, or make that 8:30 to 5, 8:30 to 5. And they have been around, as I said, since 1937, a gold standard for law practice right here in York, Pennsylvania. And don't forget, our question of the day has to do with who do you trust the most, past practice on vaccines or President Trump and his administration, who are saying, hey, we're going to change the way vaccines are distributed. It's not going to be like 1 shot, might be 5 shots. Your thoughts on that this morning, you can go to @Gary Sutton Show on Facebook, also on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And it has all of your chance to get in there. Okay, so all of that out there today. And, of course, our text line is open, 833-478-4729. Keep us up to date if we go off the air or, there's something you want to comment on or a question you have or whatever. You are welcome to communicate with us throughout the show at 833-478-4729. It is that plain and simple. Kind of like talking to James Sanders, who joins us this morning here at 7:05 on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, James. How are you?
Good morning, Gary. Now, are you saying I'm just simple or simple to talk to?
I said you're simple to talk to. That's why I was very careful about that. I said it's very simple to do. Like talking
I'm accused of both.
Like talking to James Sanders is a very simple operation. It's because you bring up such good topics. See,
thank you.
It was a pure compliment. But one of the things, and I was really interested in this because I go to a lot of restaurants, and this article came out of the Wall Street Journal about reservation apps have made getting into a restaurant a nightmare. Tell us about this story. This is really a good one.
Yeah, so I don't know whether it's necessarily the case around here so much. I mean, this still operates more like call and make the reservation or you don't even need it. But when you go out of town, you go to New York or go to, Washington, wherever, it doesn't matter. And you try to make reservations, and I've had this happen because, I planned some trips for the family or friends. You get on the website and it's like, wait a minute, I'm 3 months out. How is it they don't have a 6 o'clock reservation on a Wednesday night?
Right.
Like, it's crazy. And then I read this article and I say to myself, oh, this makes sense. It's because they have 4 or 5 different apps that are servicing or signed up for the restaurant. And then on top of that, these apps like OpenTable or Resi or whatsoever else, they're slicing off, the premium slots for clubs or for high-end credit card users, or you name it. But regardless, it kind of answers the question to me, like why I can't get a reservation when we go out west to go skiing, 3-4 months out. It's just it blows my mind. Now, that being said, the real reason that this caught my attention was, we've talked again over and over and over again how these apps and AI and et cetera are just going to sit there and consolidate the job market and destroy businesses. Well, here in this article, I counted, I think, 5 or 6 different reservation apps outside of the top 2 or 3 that have spun out and been created because of the pain points that are caused by the open tables or the resis.
Mm-hmm.
It shows me that capitalism, again, is the driving force of what's going on here. Now, regardless of the frustration, clearly there's a frustration that arises with restaurant apps, but people come up with solutions, and people that are coming up with the solutions come up with new businesses, thereby new jobs, helps to grow the economy.
Yeah, so it might be hit or miss, but it's kind of like you're firing stuff off the wall here, and eventually it's going to work. And one of the things that's interesting on this whole article, to blame, it says, is a flurry of deal-making among reservation apps and credit cards, as well as a booming industry of middlemen, all of whom are fighting over access to high-spending diners who account for around a quarter of the roughly 1.5 trillion Americans spend eating out. We spend $1.5 trillion eating out, according to federal data. And so what's happening is you have these reservation apps. They're competing to sign up restaurants with the goal of locking in tables exclusively for their top users. So if you can get someone who's locking in a table for the next 6 months, it's easy for them. They don't have to worry about you calling 6 months out ahead when you're traveling out to wherever you're going to ski. And they're saying, hey, we already got it taken care of. So that's kind of an interesting shift in paradigm, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And when you look at the business model, it's no different than, years ago when all the airlines got together and decided to start pooling their open seats, right? And then they would compete. You would compete, and you would be able to get it. Same thing with Priceline or Hotels.com. It's the exact same type of business model where you're trying to fill up the seats, the rooms, your capacity in your airline. And you're trying to do so as far out as possible. Oh, and by the way, Gary, when you do this kind of thing, when you make these reservations, if you don't show up and you cancel early, what they're doing is requiring you to put a credit card down that they're not going to charge unless you cancel. So there's a pain point that they're trying to impose as well.
And another one, I wasn't as familiar with this, although I was aware of it, these membership clubs that are popping up for people who are willing to pay extra to secure tables and cut the line. And as you said, and the credit card companies are paying restaurants for blocks of early seats so they can offer coveted reservations as a perk for their card holders, right? That's kind of an interesting look, too.
It absolutely is. And I think you see this model, being used all over the place. I mean, you and I golf, and I don't know if you're familiar with these kind of aggregators, like, for example, the Dormy Club or Epic Golf. You see it online, where they make it a special experience for high-end high-end courses. Well, the restaurants are doing the same thing. They're pulling together. They're becoming part of these clubs, and these clubs are approaching, these top-tier restaurants in these cities saying, hey, I've got this dedicated group of high-end restaurant goers. I need to have X, Y, and Z slots on these particular dates. And the restaurants will say, okay, good, because they know what's coming down the pike.
It's interesting on these groups that some of these really wealthy people, they're putting down a lot of money ahead of time, but it's a lot of money to us. To them, it's not. Where they're laying down $15,000. I saw this one guy, Scott Wiener, head of the 50/50 Group, a Chicago-based network of restaurants and cocktail bars, including Kinley and the Berkshire Room, has received offers of tens of thousands of dollars in total from the major reservation apps. And one pitch he passed on for an exclusive partnership was for roughly 15 grand in cash, plus an event to showcase his restaurants. He said, 10,000 doesn't really do anything to me, Weiner said. The slicing and dicing of available tables can mean there are only so many seats in the most sought-after establishments, begetting a sense of scarcity at the highest levels.
It's not a new concept, Gary.
Right.
Think about tipping the maitre d' when you used to go, like the movies.
Sure.
You walk into the restaurant, you give them $100 or her 100, whatever it was, and they give you the primo table, right?
Right.
That's what this concept is. It's essentially saying, hey, listen, I know that there's these groups of high-end diners out there. How do I get their attention, and who is going to bring them to my restaurant? It's not just because I have such a great restaurant and it's the hottest ticket in town. I need to have somebody bringing them and showcasing them for me.
It's interesting here, too. For most restaurants, even the very high-end ones, according to the article, working with the apps is a matter of survival. The cost of labor, food, and other operations have skyrocketed in recent years, especially since COVID, further eroding the industry's famously razor-thin margins. So full-service restaurants want as much guaranteed business as they can get, right? And if you can put that credit card down and have those tables reserved ahead of time, you're playing out ahead of the game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you talk to restaurant owners or you see the economics behind it, the more that you can add on, think of it as a price increase. That's all increasing your profit margins, because you're right. When you're selling food or whatsoever else, the margins are very thin because it's competitive and people are finicky. So these types of apps help to ensure that consistent revenue stream to cover your overhead.
Yeah, full-service restaurants reported a median income before taxes of 2.8% of sales last year, with expenses, check this, up 36% from before the pandemic. 36% expenses are up. And so you can understand why they're willing to go to, anything to try to, put butts in seats, or at least reserve places for butts in seats. And if they don't show up, be able to nail them on their credit card later on. So what's the moral of the story here in this whole article you took away from it, Jim?
Yeah, so the moral of the story is, when I look at technology and digital and the digital experience, everybody has this fear that it's going to take over. No way. Capitalism's going to figure out a way that we're going to make money. Human nature is human nature, and just follow the business concept and figure out a way for the plumbing of this new AI or digital infrastructure to work through it. And if you do that, it's going to be fine, and you're going to continue to grow.
It's going to be interesting. An interesting article in Wall Street Journal regarding these apps. Yeah, and just reservation apps have made getting into a restaurant a nightmare. Check it out at wsj.com/business/restaurant. James, always good having you on a Tuesday morning. A great article, and thank you so much for taking part and discussing it. Really appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Have a great day.
Hey, have a great rest of the week. Take care. James Sanders right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more right after this.
Sports Update.
All right, despite recent struggles, the Dodgers still have a comfortable lead in the National League West. 7.5 games over second place Arizona. Late Monday night, Los Angeles welcomed in Kansas City.
Ground ball to Freddie Freeman. He'll take it himself. That is a win for LA. That is a good feeling for a lot of people.
At Sportsnet LA on the call, Dodgers beat the Royals 6-5. Tarek Skubal made his first start in a Dodger uniform at Dodger Stadium. He went the first 5, gave up 3 runs. He struck out 6. Meanwhile, Tim Anderson has announced his retirement. He spent 10 seasons in the big leagues, 8 of them on the south side of Chicago with the White Sox. And Giants third baseman Matt Chapman, he's going to undergo season-ending surgery today for an abdominal strain. All right, interesting college football news. UCLA is adding former Raiders and Saints quarterback Derek Carr as his special advisor. He'll assist the Bruins offensive staff with game planning strategy. He'll also work with the quarterbacks in a volunteer role. From the NFL, the Cowboys and star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams agreed to a 3-year extension. It's worth more than $105 million. The $35 million annual average, the second highest among defensive tackles. All right, history made in the WNBA Monday night.
Howard from deep. Ryan Howard.
All right, TSN on the call of another Ryan Howard three-pointer. She had 6. Howard became the fastest player in WNBA history to make 100 three-pointers in a season. She did so in 31 games. The record was 33. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Jay Berman.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Don't forget the Revs at it tonight, 6:15 in Long Island. Their 2,500th game since 2007. And no more important game than with Long Island. They have a 4.5 game lead starting tonight over Long Island in the second half in the North Division. So if the Revs could, win more games they lose this week in Long Island, it'll be 6 of them. They could pretty much get a very commanding lead heading into the final month of the season. So we'll keep our eyes on that. I mentioned earlier about 7-Up. It's the end of an era. For the first time in over 15 years, and I didn't realize it had been that close, 7-Up is changing its recipe, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the humanity. Now it will no longer be a lemon-lime soda. Instead, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a lime-lemon soda.
Explain. Make it make sense.
Here you go. They're tweaking the formula to be more lime-forward.
Oh.
And they're doing it across the full lineup, including Zero Sugar, Cherry 7-Up, and Cherry Zero Sugar. Yeah, the new recipes will start hitting stores soon, within the next couple of weeks, and you'll know you're trying one of the new 7-Ups because the branding will look different, and it will say Lime Lemon on the packaging. Not lemon lime, Lime Lemon. Write this down.
Probably wouldn't even notice if you hadn't told me.
Yeah, write this down. The company says, quote, by giving lime the spotlight, we're delivering a more refreshing taste experience, unquote. They say 72% of Gen Alpha and Gen Z consumers gravitate towards citrus-forward flavors, and 64% prefer bold, intense taste experiences. So they wanted to punch it up a bit, so they put the lime out in front of the lemon.
Interesting.
As we all know, lime would be much more of a punch.
It makes a good mixer.
It does. And of course, everybody likes lime with their various alcoholic drinks and so forth. One social media influencer who got an early tasted the new and old recipes side by side and says it's a very subtle change. In fact, if you weren't trying them back to back, you might not even notice. She did taste test them side by side and said the new version has a limier smell. She added that there's slightly more lime zest flavor, and it seems slightly less sweet, but it's barely noticeable. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You get excited about that this week. It will no longer be a lime lemon soda or a lemon lime soda. It will be lime lemon. And that will solve world peace.
It is refreshing. It is refreshing.
It does sound refreshing, does it not?
Yes, and it would be a good basis for Any of the crushes, like an orange crush?
Well, and I'm tingly about it. I'm a little tingly about it. Something to look forward to always. The next couple of weeks, I'm going to be out there looking, scouring the shelves for lime, lemon, not lemon, lime. By the way, the best movie sequels of all time have been ranked.
They have?
Yes, they have.
Who ranked them?
Well, somebody that took way too much self-importance. But some sequels hold their own and are just as good, if not better, than the original. Consequence.com. Mark, you've heard of them, haven't you?
No.
Consequence.com ranked the best movie sequels of all time. So what do you think the top 3 would be?
Godfather 2.
That would be number 1. Yeah, that was 1974.
Best sequel. So, The Empire Strikes Back.
Boy, I'll tell you, you're amazing. 1980. That was number 2.
And
what do you think number 3 was?
I'm gonna say Indiana Jones.
No.
Oh,
Indiana Jones was not even in the top 10.
No kidding.
Not even in the top 15.
All right.
Paddington 2.
Oh, well, I never would have guessed that.
That's why I was helping you out. I didn't want you going crazy. Paddington 2 in 2017 about the bear. Right? Number 4 was Aliens.
You know what?
86.
It is. It's a fun. I laughed a lot, but it was fun. I liked it.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991 was number 5.
That's another good one.
The Dark Knight was number 6,
Absolutely.
2008. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, but
I spit at you.
the little
I
thing.
hurl my last breath at you.
The thing in the ear.
Ricardo Montalban.
It's kind of. It can't be fun, right?
Wait, and Ricardo Montalban is so good. I mean,
it's not supposed to be funny.
No, it's not. But he's really good. And of course, that little thing he put in the ear.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't reach their ear and dig it out? You know. Evil Dead 2 was number 8, 1987.
It's an acquired taste. If you can,
Number 9, Before Sunset, 2004. These are the best sequels, by the way. And The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers in 2002. That was number 10. Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
In 2017 was number 11. Toy Story 2, number 12 in 1999. Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior from 1981. That was Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah, yes, for both of them.
Spider-Man 2 was number 14, 2004. And Kill Bill Volume 2 was 2004. One of the strangest movies I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, there you go.
But entertaining, though.
Very entertaining. So those were the top sequels, and I'm not at all surprised. Godfather 2 was every bit as good as Godfather 1, I thought.
You know, there were a lot of movies, though, up until, I don't know when the first sequel was done, because I think people want to know more about the story in successful movies, but there's always a hesitation to do a sequel. And then, you know, after a while, they only did it as like a last resort kind of thing. They didn't put the proper resources to it.
Oh, yeah.
And you ended up with a crappy movie.
Look at Home Alone. I mean, they went Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, both pretty good. Okay, and then after that, all of a sudden, they started.
Jaws.
They just kicked it to death. And Jaws was another one.
Oh my gosh! If you ever see the Jaws 3D,
where like Jaws has relatives that are coming back to get you.
The Jaws 3D is so bad.
It just horrible. I mean, just horrible. And so you sit on it, let it go. You don't have you have a Gone with the Wind Part 2.
There is.
Come on.
There is a great, the lure of money.
Well, and
chance to make a quick
new
killing.
Generations. We want to show them the new generations, but we have all this new stuff to show it, and we're saying, did you lose something? Have you ever seen a Wizard of Oz Part 2? No.
Yes.
Well, yes, you have. You have Wicked. You have that whole Wicked stuff.
They actually did a Wizard of Oz.
Did they really?
I saw it. It was. The guy, he was in 127 Hours. The guy that chopped off his arm.
Oh Lord!
That actor was in it.
I'm glad I didn't.
It was, what they did though. I mean, it was interesting from a special effects standpoint.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a better movie.
No, you just let it die, let it go sometimes. And unfortunately, as you said, the lure of money. Follow the money.
That's it. And the technology as well. I mean, I think that's part of it too, is that, we can do this better and cheaper.
Here's a question for you as we go to the next segment.
Yes.
Do you think the youngest sibling is the most spoiled? Now, people have talked about that for time immemorial. But the youngest child, do they get away with everything?
Yes.
Are they the most spoiled?
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about that when we come back and what therapists are saying about it. And what else do we have, Mark?
Well, we're going to hear. It's a special day for an iconic prison, but we're going to hear from early on when, actually, I think it was close to the end, when somebody actually did something at this prison that very few people were able to do, and that's escape.
Yeah, we'll find out about all of that next, right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
The spoon proves mightier than the bars at supposedly escape-proof Alcatraz prison. 3 bank robbers serving long terms scratched their way through grills covering an air vent, climbed a drainage pipe, and disappeared from the forbidding rock in San Francisco Bay. It appears to be the first successful escape in the history of the maximum security prison, and the flight is attributed by Warden Olin Blackwell to the deteriorating condition of the prison. Crumbling concrete and eroding metals, with $5 million needed for repairs. The men the walls couldn't hold are Frank Morris and John and Clarence Anglin. Authorities believe that Morris, who has a superior IQ, masterminded the
Yes, it was big news at the time, but it was a pretty quiet news 92 years ago today on this date. In 1934, the very first federal prisoners arrived at Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay.
We have always been, I think, kind of entranced by Alcatraz because they said, well, there were sharks around there and you really couldn't get out and the waters were cold and the temperatures were horrible there. The currents were too strong and all this. But there were 3 guys, and they actually did a movie called Escape from Alcatraz about that. Clint Eastwood, I think, plays the lead in that. And then these 2 other brothers. And over the years, there have been all kinds of stories about they actually got out and later on lived their days out in Tennessee, I think, where the brothers were from, the Englands. But there were letters written and all kinds of supposed stuff. But who knows? Interesting story. By the way, do you think the youngest sibling is the most spoiled? A couple of parent stories this morning.
Yes.
Well,
Are you the youngest?
No, I'm the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
Obviously, I'm not spoiled.
I'm not spoiled.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay, so if you've ever heard that the youngest child gets away with everything, therapists say it might be time to retire that old family myth.
Oh, stop.
That's what they're saying. The experts are saying that. Experts say that many youngest siblings don't feel spoiled at all. Well, of course they don't because they're getting all the attention on them. But while some have experienced more freedom or less strict parenting, many also report feeling underestimated, dismissed, or treated like the family baby long into adulthood.
Oh.
Well, tough to be you. Anyway, therapists say the label, that label can create pressure. Some youngest siblings feel they have to be the fun, easygoing peacemaker, even when they're dealing with their own stuff. Others develop people-pleasing habits because they've spent years focusing on everyone else's feelings. Basically, birth order is only one small piece of the puzzle. Research suggests it is not nearly as predictive of your adult personality as many people think. In other words, they're not spoiled snots when they grow up, just because we've tended to think that over the years. Here's something else on parenting that I also found interesting this morning. Ever joke with your best friend about buying a house and raising your families together? For some people, that idea is becoming real life.
What?
There's a growing number of millennials. They're embracing platonic co-parenting. Now, I have not heard anything about this.
No.
In some cases, it's single parents who have split from their spouses and are moving in together and raising their children under one roof. Now, they're not sleeping together or anything like that.
But they
just
got
moved
split
in.
up, though.
But if it's all moms, instead of a commune, they're calling it a mommune. A mommune. Stop and linger on that for a moment. And some other people are choosing to have children with their friends or like-minded people without any romantic relationship involved. Co-parenting apps are taking off too. They help connect people interested in starting families with platonic partners. In other words, there's no romance, there's none of that, intimate stuff. They're just platonic. They're friends. A lot of people are saying the lack of romance actually makes parenting and household decisions less complicated. So this means someone can put you in the friend zone but still want to have kids with you. That can get confusing, I suppose. That's from Morning Brew, so I know that must be true. Wonder how Michael Gear would feel about this one. I have a feeling I know. I'm just, maybe we'll bring this up tomorrow.
Let's talk a little bit about, let's check in with today's house call for health.
A cyclospora outbreak is being blamed for a drop in sales at some salad chains. Places like Chopped Creative Salad Company seeing a 24% drop in sales on July 18th. That followed the FDA's announcement about the outbreak. And Sweet Green officials say they're also experiencing a slump, a 6% impact on same-store sales. And it's not just fast food chains feeling the impact. Prepackaged salad sales at grocery stores also dropped 14% in July compared to a year ago. Consumers saying they're shopping with extreme caution to avoid getting sick. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Here's the thing with restaurants, right? It's usually one of two things for me. It's either convenience,
right?
All right, or you're going
as a destination. You're going for a specific reason.
You want something that you can't get at home,
like your Chinese buffet. You like?
Yes. Why would you go and get a salad?
Yeah. Well, you can make that at home.
Easily.
And get local lettuce.
Yes.
You know where it's from.
Dump in some croutons or some nuts, cranberries if you want. I mean, it doesn't. They're all in bags.
Everything's there.
Right. It would take you, if you had the
15
ingredients,
minutes maybe.
less than that.
Yeah.
And so why would you know what? Let's splurge. Let's go out and have somebody else make our salad.
Right. You don't need that. You just don't need that. By the way, are you any of you that are Mercedes owners out there? And bring your nose down for a second. Okay. Has it ever been so hot inside your car that your skin was burned by the belt buckle, for example, on your safety belt? You ever had that? Well, two drivers of Mercedes AMG cars have filed a class action lawsuit against the company, against Mercedes, after they suffered second-degree burn injuries from the AMG logo on their driver's seat after the logo got super hot from exposure to the sun. Wow. Apparently, and if you didn't know, Mercedes-AMG is a high-performance subsidiary of Mercedes-Benz. So it's basically another step up from basic luxury. They argue that the front seats of certain Mercedes-AMG models, if you have one of these, you might want to be aware of it, not too many of you probably have this, but have a design defect where the raised metallic AMG logo is reasonably expected to come in contact with a driver's upper back, neck, or shoulder. And if your skin is exposed, if you're wearing something sleeveless like a tank top, leaning against that logo can brand your skin. So at least people know that how cool that will be. Now you can walk around with a brand on you that says AMG, hey, you own a Mercedes, don't you? Huh? But it's not one that you've chosen to do. So if your skin's exposed, if you're wearing something sleeveless like a tank top, leaning against the logo is not a good thing. They want Mercedes to compensate them for any medical expenses, pain, suffering, and emotional distress. And they also want the company to pay for other owners to have the hot logo removed from their cars. So they want, if you have one of these cars, they want to make sure that Mercedes pays for that. That's from AP/Jalopnik this morning.
So I went on and I used MSN's Copilot AI, and I asked it how to invest $300 million from a Powerball win.
Oh.
So first it says you have to decide between a lump sum.
You didn't want to invest the whole $401 million that you're going to win?
And after taxes.
That's it. And that's what they said it is, after taxes, 401.
Oh, did it say after taxes?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we read that off. Yeah.
So, all right, so $400 million.
401.
And so what do you do with that? Mm-hmm. Now, if you take the annuity, the growth is already kind of taken in there. Mm-hmm. They already assume they make the investments and you get them. But if you want the money up front, then you can invest it. Now, there is should you do that? Do you know enough about it? Do you know anybody? And that kind of money, not everybody's going to be able to take $400 million. They're probably not even going to be able to take $5 million. So you're going to have multiple sources in order to split this money up, maybe, 50 ways in order to get some kind of protection that you'll need over the course. It says create financial buckets. Mm-hmm. There's the lifestyle bucket.
50 ways to save your money.
And then growth bucket. Mm-hmm. And then a legacy bucket.
Yeah.
And with that kind of money, too, you might want to think about charities.
Some more psychobabble, by the way, buckets.
And you can protect yourself with
there you go.
Charities.
All these different places that you could save up. Here's one I have never come across before.
Okay.
It's not hard to talk young kids into taking a back-to-school photo, like where they're holding one of those chalkboards or something, but it can be a challenge with older kids. A mother in Colorado named Amanda wanted to take a photo of her son, Colton, on his first day of 5th grade, but he was throwing a fit and refused. He didn't want to take the photo. She was apparently taking a photo of her son. It's opening day. You want to have that remembrance for your child. So Amanda decided to do something different in order to get some help. She saw a cop on her way to school, told him about the situation, and the officer turned on his lights and arrested Colton, the boy who wouldn't get his photo taken.
Wow.
Yeah. He even put him in handcuffs. And
no kidding.
And informed him that, quote, refusing your mom a first day of school picture is, in fact, against the law, unquote. So mom gets his cop. He comes, arrests the kid, says, you don't want to take your picture? I'm going to arrest you. Puts him in handcuffs. CBS Colorado says they're trying to confirm which state statute was cited as the offense and whether booking photos are allowed in the school's yearbook. They're being playful, of course. He won't actually be taken into the clink. That said, Amanda did get awesome back-to-school pictures of Colton being arrested. Maybe the lesson Colton learned will help other fifth graders out there. Just take a quick photo and save yourself from becoming a known felon.
Hopefully it'll be the only time.
Yeah, hopefully for Colton.
Yes.
Who apparently is kind of a...
Hey, remember the first time you...
The first time what?
The first time you got arrested, Colton?
Yeah. Yeah, and Colton said, yeah.
I got the pictures right here.
I got the pictures right here, and I was arrested, yeah. So there you go.
Poor kid.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. So there you go. We've got, when we come back...
I have pet news if you need it.
I got some pet news, too.
Cool.
About a goose.
What?
About a goose who saved a family.
Oh.
I mean, a human family. All here on the Gary Sutton Show. When we come back, we're at the bottom of the barrel on WOYK. Welcome back. The Gary Sutton Show here on a Tuesday morning on WOYK, where it is 7:51. Hope you're having a great start to your day. A Texas family's pet goose is being hailed as a hero for alerting the sleeping family to a fire that erupted in their barn, Fort Bend County in Texas. Resident Bert Gerber said he was asleep in front of the TV last week when he was roused. Not aroused, excuse me, two different things. He was roused. I don't want you thinking the wrong thing. Aroused by the honking of the family's pet goose, who's creatively named Goosey. Tells you how sharp this family is. So I'm not making fun. Well, I actually am. So the family's home security cameras recorded as Goosey left out several loud honks while flames erupted in the barn behind the home, which apparently is where Goosey lived. I just casually came outside and I saw a fire billowing out there, Gerber said. I grabbed a water hose and ran over there. Gerber was able to extinguish the flames, and the animals inside the barn were able to escape unharmed. Gerber and his wife, Chelsea, said the incident could have turned tragic if not for Goosey's vigilance. We're still in complete shock over how differently this could have ended. Chelsea Gerber wrote on social media, "We are beyond grateful everyone is safe, and we couldn't be more proud of Goosey. He truly is our little hero." Goosey came to live with the family in May at the urging of the Gerber's young daughter, Elaine. When we got him, he was so small and he was just so fluffy. And I got to pet his head, he would just rest his head on my arm, and it just made me tear up. So Goosey saved the barn and the animals in it by his loud honking. Thank you. Oh, Lord.
Hey, speaking of pets,
take a pause.
Marine Corps veteran Ricky Dennis in Arizona fell on hard times recently. He'd been living in his car for a week and he thought he had no choice but to give up the 3 little dogs he's had for over a decade.
VA was going to put me in a transitional living house, but I couldn't take my dogs. You know what I mean? I wanted my dogs to be with me.
But what started as a surrender turned into a second chance thanks to a Maricopa County shelter diversion navigator.
The lady at the dog pound, she helped me out a lot, and I'll never forget her.
Nora Ogain's job is to help keep pets with the people who love them. She reached out to her network on Ricky's behalf and found him a new apartment that night where he can keep his dogs.
He was ecstatic. He was so happy. He couldn't believe it himself.
That night I was in an apartment. You know, they helped me get off the street.
Take a pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Another happy ending.
There you go. And while we're at it, some other good news. I mean, it's too much all at one time. I don't know if we can stand all this good news at one time. But this was a story about a young man, and he's, here. He's 17 years old. His name is Johnson Thompson. About a week after a lawnmower accident, which landed him in the hospital with a concussion, this Alabama teen, Johnson Thompson, found himself unable to sleep through the night. So around 4:30 a.m. on June 30th, he decided to just head into his parents' workshop to start his day. He said, I figured, and how many of us haven't had this? I just did it the other day. I figured I might as well get started working rather than lying in bed, not sleeping, Johnson Thompson of Tuscumbia told People magazine. As it turned out, arriving early put him in the right place to help Fanny Garner, a 76-year-old woman who showed up across the street disoriented and in pain. After seeking medical attention, she learned that she had suffered a brain bleed, which could have been fatal had it not been caught in time. He's a guardian angel for sure, says Garner, a resident of Cherokee. To this day, Garner doesn't remember getting in the car that morning or even leaving the house. The last thing she remembered was having a bad headache. Johnson says that he knew right away that something was wrong when he saw Garner pull up to a local business, which was, of course, still closed, then start tugging on the door. Quote, I asked her if I could help her with anything since it was so early, unquote, he recalls. She told me that she had a terrible headache and she was kind of disoriented. She didn't really know where she was or anything. Then he says she asked him where the nearest emergency room was because she was going to walk. It was 2 or 3 miles down the road, so she wouldn't have made it that far for sure, he says. Even though Garner insisted she could, in fact, make it on her own, Johnson called 911, then brought her a chair so she could sit while they waited for the ambulance to arrive. About 5 minutes later, EMS arrived to pick her up, and then it was back to work for Johnson. At the hospital, Garner was told by doctors she had a small brain bleed that should clear up in a few days. Wanting to thank the young man who helped her, Garner's sister decided to track Johnson down, eventually getting his number and showing up at his place of work. Although he initially had no idea what was going on when she showed up asking for him, all became clear when she told him how grateful she was as saving her mom.
There you go. There's a kindness returned.
There it is. So kindness lurks its head once again, and this Johnson kid did a great job.
I have a few facts that are just random, but they're kind of interesting. Also quantify things for you. For example, and this was a shock to me when I learned this, scientists estimate that only 5 to 10% of cancer is caused by genes.
Really?
So cancer mostly comes from a combination of our environment, our lifestyle, chance, and getting older. And speaking of cancer, according to a study in the Journal of Clinical Oncology, every $326 that the U.S. government used to spend researching cancer extends a human life by 1 year. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And there's some real advancements that hopefully are a little bit closer these days. Did you know that there have been 2,019 people elected to the U.S. Senate in history?
I did not know that. I think that's fascinating.
Only 14, though, are black.
Yeah.
10 were elected in the last 2 decades. 9 are Democrats and 1 is Republican.
And Mitch McConnell's still there after all these 2019?
Allegedly.
No.
And Philadelphia... Now, well, Philadelphia, I'm just going to say it. Philadelphia is powered on burning money. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yes, the Federal Reserve in Philadelphia takes money that's too worn out to be in circulation, and they send it to the local power plant.
And they burn it.
And they burn it for electricity.
Well, that's a good idea.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. When does the money become too old? That would be interesting.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's got linen in it,
right?
To help it last. But and I don't know if the new, security stuff lessens that. But I don't think bills have a real long life. I think it's a year or two at best, if that. So.
I'm just looking it up here really quick.
Oh yeah, it might say if you did a search.
Well, we'll see what AI says this morning. When is money deemed to be too old? And it says U.S. paper money never expires or becomes too old to use, as official government policy dictates all designs of Federal Reserve notes issued from 1914 to the present remain legal tender. It seems like at some point in time it's just too old. If it crumbles in your hand, it's probably too old. Okay.
7 years, a dollar bill.
Oh, there you go. 7 years is what it normally lasts. Very good. When we come back, Chief Jim Thomas of the Lower Windsor Township joins us to talk about pipes and drums and the importance of them, and Eugene and Pasquale at 8:35. All straight ahead on the Gary Sutton Show, where it is 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth. You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Welcome back. The Gary Sutton Show here, the final hour on a Tuesday morning here on WOYK, all brought to you by Einstein and Sparler, attorneys of law, and kindnessworldwide.org. This hour of the Gary Sutton Show specifically sponsored by Your Computer. Yeah, Your Computer. You can find them at yourcomputer.net. You know, there's nothing that affects our world more right now than computers every single day. We wear them on our wrists. We carry them around in our pockets. We have tablets. We've got computers at work. And so everything that you do really is affected by computers a lot. And yourcomputer.net, Walt Oakman, all the good people over there at 2069 Carlisle Road in York, out in the Shiloh area of York, are ready to help you right now. And one of the areas that they are so good. Now, they used to be York Computer Repair. They still repair computers. They can even do it remotely into your home. They still have new and used computers out there. They customize computers. They do all that. But one of the things that they do is a flat rate managed IT service. That's right, 24/7 monitoring and cybersecurity, all of that. And they have one flat price they pay every month. I pay it every month, and I gladly. And I'll tell you why. Because they watch out for me. They make sure that people are not slipping through my digital back door, so to speak. And that way I can run my business right here, and I can also run my life without having to worry about all that stuff all the time. I don't want to have to worry about it. I want to feel good. It feels good to have peace of mind with yourcomputer.net. And Walt Oakman, the good people over there, are ready to help you right now. They are people whose faces you see here in the community every single day, and they take that seriously. So if you need help with your computer in any way, shape, or form, it's your one-stop shop. Your Computer. You can find them at yourcomputer.net on the web or yourdigitalbodyguard.com. You can also give them a call between 9 and 5 every weekday, 717-739-9675. They'll set up an appointment for you. They will get it done. They'll make sure you understand what happened, and they'll do it with a smile. That's what they do. Flat monthly rates, no surprises, 24/7 monitoring alerts, local, based right here in York, Pennsylvania, and business and residential takes care of it all. And they still have the capacity to fix your computers, help you out whenever you need help. They are ready to go. Yourcomputer.net. Check them out today and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. 717-739-9675. With that, we start this hour. Normally, Jamie Norpel is with us, but Jamie, I think, is out on a cruise somewhere or a vacation somewhere. I think in Germany or something like that. I'm not sure. In Europe. Yeah, in Europe. So I thought she said maybe Germany, but whatever. She always does a great job for us, but she also has all kinds of people who sit in for her who do a great job, like Chief Jim Thomas this morning of Lower Windsor Township, who joins us right here on the Gary Sutton Show. Chief Thomas, great to have you on this morning. Thank you for your service, and great to have you on the Gary Sutton Show.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chief. And one of the things we wanted to talk about today was kind of an interesting look. We think about some of our officers who lost their lives in the line of duty last year. And here in Pennsylvania, all 4 officers who died here in York County. But we think about how we honor the officers and how we honor people. And pipes and drums is something that happens here a lot. And you wanted to talk about that a little bit this morning, I understand.
Well, yes. So it's actually kind of an interesting story. I was a high school musician in the drum line and was in a heavy metal band, and I come from a family of police officers. Matter of fact, my father was the chief of police in Parksburg.
Okay. So tell me about the journey here to get into the pipes and drums.
Well, Jamie Miller, who used to be is a retired Spring-Sperry officer, had been practicing bagpipes at our station, and we decided that we were going to form a band and, honor the officers that were killed in the line of duty.
Right.
And it started off that we were teamed up with Pittsburgh Pipe and Drum, which was one of the closest Emerald societies. And we started going down to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in D.C.
Right.
And that kind of mushroomed into our band becoming a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger. And unfortunately, in this society, we've had numerous officers that were killed on the line of duty, and this is our way of honoring those officers.
Wow. And the name of your band?
It's the York County Police Pipes and Drums.
York County Police Pipes and Drums. Now, tell me, how often do you practice? Tell me what all, the makeup of the band. I'm really interested in this.
Well, so we actually have a nice selection of fire, EMS, retired police, fire, EMS, and active police officers from Springettsbury to the county parks, the state parks. We're open to any service provider that would like to take part in honoring these officers.
Now, you're composed of active and retired local first responders, I understand, and obviously you've said you honor the fallen public safety officers, and you participate in regional memorial ceremonies as well, right?
Yes, and we actually have done some other charitable stuff, like when we had Cops and Lobsters, and sometimes we'll do a national night out here and there when we're not providing for our communities. And I've been as far as New York City, Ohio, Washington, D.C., anytime that there's a need that we get a request to assist.
You are on Facebook, I saw, under York County Police Pipes and Drums, but, you think about service. You said you're from a family of police officers. What is it about policing that kind of brings you to that job? I mean, for a lot of people, they wonder, why would you go there? But there's a special, I think, mentality and a special calling that brings you there, right?
Yeah, I'm a third generationer. My grandfather was a MP in the military. My dad was a chief of police, and I am. And my daughter has been a probation officer and is now working with kids with autism. And my son's actually trying out for the U.S. Secret Service and Uniform Patrol Division.
Wow. Holy smoke. This idea of service to the community, when you walk away at the end of the day, we've seen an awful lot of lack of appreciation of police over the years. When we see some of the things that happen, and police are asked to wear so many hats anymore. At the end of the day, when you come home, what makes you feel good about the job that you do?
Well, obviously, so it has changed since when I started. When
Sure.
I started in '96, it was a different atmosphere, and I work in a very small community, and I love my community. And if I can just help one person a day, or just try to make it a little bit better, that's what makes me feel good. And it's really tough right now because we do kind of get a black eye, but. If you think about it, there's hundreds of officers in York County, and the stuff that happens is so few and far between, and we try our best. But it makes it a little harder now than it has been in the past.
We're talking with Chief Jim Thomas this morning of Lower Windsor Township, York County Police Pipes and Drums, but also about service. Chief, when there's probably some people sitting there listening saying, maybe I'd like to get into something like policing. If you think about the people that you are in charge of it and the job that you do, what are the maybe top three most important characteristics that a police officer should have, a good police officer? You've had a chance over the years to see people in action. What would be the top three things you would say they'd have to have?
I think honesty, sincerity, and to me, it's the willingness to put yourself, in a position to help other people that need your help. And like, for instance, this week we've had, fall victims, elderly people, and we've also had drug arrests. So it's a big gamut of, things that can happen in a day. And, even from when I started until now, it has just changed. And, I think my department, we help out on ambulance calls, we help out on fire calls. We kind of do a little bit more than other departments just because of our availability, our demographics, and some of the stuff in Lower Windsor particularly is different than it is in New York City.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Much more rural area, obviously, and you're probably going to travel a few more miles, too, to help people out, I would think, from time to time, knowing Lower Windsor as I do. But is there a most unusual call that you've ever gone out on? I've always wanted to ask a police officer that, so you're the first one I've ever had a chance to ask that question for some reason. So, most unusual call you ever got called out on?
Well, one of them was I got dispatched for a strange device in the middle of an intersection.
Oh, no.
And I get out there, and here it was from NASA, and it was a weather balloon that got off course and landed on Manor Road at Schmeiser Road in Lower Windsor County.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. So when you approached it, did you, I guess you probably had to approach it pretty carefully, not knowing exactly what it was, right?
Oh, yes. It was in a styrofoam container, and it was beeping. But I knew it was probably something weather-related because it had a large balloon attached to it.
There you go.
But, and we've had everything from wild emus running around to we've had 3 homicides since I've started in Lower Windsor in 1998. So we do get a little bit of everything.
You didn't have that crazy guy from the commercials running around with the emu, I hope.
No.
Good. Anyway, you mentioned something earlier, though, from a serious standpoint, of how much policing has changed over the years. What's the biggest change in policing from when you started to the present day?
Technology, and it's both pro and negative.
Okay.
So, for instance, back when we would get phone assignments, I would have to go back to the station after getting dispatched and make phone calls and stuff like that.
Right.
And now I can, if I pull somebody over, I can scan their driver's license and scan their registration and give them a warning or a citation within 5 minutes, where before it would be probably 25 minutes to a half an hour because of all the handwriting and whatever else.
Sure.
And with the technology, you can pull up photos with warrants and stuff like that. So technology on that aspect has been outstanding. The negative is, everybody has a cell phone and puts it in your face, and even though that you're not doing anything wrong, it's still a distraction when you're trying to do your job, and people are now butting in and, doing things. And so it is a definite cursing and a blessing, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, York County Police Pipes and Drums, check that out on Facebook at facebook.com/p/York-County-Police-Pipes-and-drums. But thank you for your service, Chief Thomas. You guys do an unbelievable job keeping us safe in the community and there in Lower Windsor Township. Obviously, huge for you, but we appreciate what all of you people do in terms of service every day. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, thank you. And the one thing I would like to add about the Pipes and Drums is that, for instance, the officers that were killed from Northern Regional, we came together as a band.
Okay.
And we had pipers from Philly, we had pipers from New Jersey, New York, Pittsburgh, and if we can make one family feel better in one slight bit at a funeral to help ease their suffering or honor their officer's memory, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's kind of an honor just to even be given that responsibility, as well as us getting to meet everybody and coming together, which the people in the emergency services divisions do.
Let me ask you one final question here from that standpoint. So if someone has a veteran of the services or a first responder die, do they contact you directly, or is there a way to go about doing that to have the York County Police Pipes and Drums come?
Yeah, they can contact us either through our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
They can contact me. We unfortunately only have a certain number of members, and if we can do it, we always try to assist. But we also work really well with the Kilty Band of York. We work well with some of the other bands.
Okay.
That if we can't do it, we try to make sure it gets done. And most of the time we do it, but sometimes we have trouble because obviously we have other responsibilities.
Right. Hey,
we just try to do the best we can with what we got.
Chief Jim Thomas of Lower Windsor Township, the York County Police, pipes and drums, and just service. That's what it's all about. Chief Thomas, an honor to have you with us this morning. Thank you so very much, and we look forward to talking to you again sometime in the near future.
Absolutely, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Chief Jim Thomas of Lower Windsor Township, right here on the Gary Sutton Show, the York County Police Pipes and Drums. And they do, as he said, perform at, in honor of people who have passed away, who have been first responders. And again, they work with the Kelty Band and other groups here in York in case, because they're out doing police work. They can't always be there at the times, but just a great service to the community. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more right after this on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
This is CNN Breaking News.
So, I hate to have to report this. The breaking news just into CNN. is that actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63 from an apparent suicide. This is from Williams' representative, who released a statement just a moment ago saying, quote, Robin Williams passed away this morning. He had been battling severe depression of late. This is a tragic and sudden loss. The family respectfully asks for their privacy, and they grieve during this very difficult time. And just to give you a little background, Robin Williams won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
It was on this date 12 years ago. In 2014, Robin Williams hung himself.
Yeah.
He was 63, and we now know, they weren't talking about it then, but we now know that he was struggling with a form of dementia called Lewy body disease.
Yeah, it's a progressive brain disorder that was caused by abnormal protein deposits called Lewy bodies that damage nerve cells. And it affects thinking, movement, mood, behavior, just about everything, by the way, commonly causing visual hallucinations, fluctuating alertness, and movement stiffness, similar, I guess, to Parkinson's disease from what you read about with this. But you have trouble with focus, planning, problem solving, rather than immediate memory loss. You have visual hallucinations. You're seeing people, animals, or shapes that are not real, often early in the illness. Fluctuations, unpredictable shifts in attention, alertness, and confusion throughout the day. Muscle stiffness, slow movement, tremors, balance problems leading to falls, and sleep disruption. Acting out dreams physically during REM sleep behavior disorder. And they say clumps of this protein build up inside the brain, disrupting the normal chemical messaging that goes on. So imagine this protein kind of getting all together and then clumping up, and so it gets in the way of what your normal messaging is. It's firing in the brain. And it includes dementia with Lewy bodies. Cognitive symptoms start first, and Parkinson's disease dementia movement symptoms start first in that one. So there are two different kinds, the Parkinson's disease dementia and the Lewy body dementia.
And what's kind of ironic, too, is that he built his entire career on kind of acting.
And quick response.
Yes, quick response. Kind of crazy, but, refreshing in some ways, irritating.
By the way, there's no known cure for this. Treatments focus on managing specific behavioral, cognitive, and movement symptoms. Certain drugs for memory or movement can help, but careful medical supervision is required because some traditional antipsychotic drugs can cause severe adverse reactions. And they say physical therapy, home safety measures, and caregiver support are essentially as the disease progresses. So it does not have a happy ending.
I wonder if he knew all this. He had access to the best care, and I wonder if he saw that there was it was only going to get worse for him, and he took the action that he did. And
what's amazing on this too, Mark, and you bring up a really great point that people say, well, we should never ever take our own lives, and I subscribe to that generally. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if you knew all these things that are happening, do you have some empathy towards someone who said, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot to go through. This isn't life as I had wanted to practice it. Yeah.
Yes, and he had expectations.
Yeah.
He lived his life pretty much, probably, I would bet, with no bars, no rules. And now, all of a sudden, he's going to have the world, I guess in his view, he might think the world is retreating on him. And almost like a cell, becoming more of a cell, and he can't be himself.
And just think, he operated on innovation, imagination, creativity, all this stuff. And now imagine also, and again, we're just raising some of the questions here this morning come out of this that we're thinking about. Here comes Robin Williams walking into a room. What is your expectation of Robin Williams when he walks in the room? This guy's going to be quick-witted and so on. And all of a sudden, here's this guy that's suffering through all these various things as part of this Lewy body dementia. And you say, well, well, that's not Robin Williams. That's, and so I imagine even some of that may have seeped into his thinking. I don't know, but
right. We can't.
Who can know what went through his mind during that point?
But, I mean, you could see that being part of his equation. I mean, why else would he, take his own life? And, and especially like that.
And when we heard about that, we thought, oh, well, he committed suicide.
Exactly. So
it's a lot more complicated than that now that we have found out over the last few years.
Yes.
Yeah. So Robin Williams died on this date. When we come back, Eugenia Pasquale joins us as we look into the world of politics. And there are things out there. Today are the Minnesota primaries. And there are a lot of Democrats who are blaming each other over this whole welfare thing that happened out there. And also, there's some new polls out on Republicans and how they're seeing some unhappy news in some of the polls right now based on people and economics. And we'll chat about both those items when we join Eugenia Pasquale here at 8:35. It's the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, all brought to you today in this hour by York Computer. You can find them at yorkcomputer.net. And I'll tell you what, they are ready to help you right now when it comes to flat rate managed IT services, 24/7 monitoring, cybersecurity. They're going to make you feel good because they're going to watch out for people trying to slip in the back door. And you see it every single day. We've even seen it happen on our program here, but there was Walt Oakham and Your Computer in there to help in seconds and take care of the problem. You don't want to run your business worrying about your computer. You want to make sure that you can have peace of mind. And that's what Your Computer does each and every day. Now, you can give them a call. It's 717-739-9675. They're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they're located right here on Carlisle Road out in the Shiloh area of York, 2069 Carlisle Road. Stop out and see them. Walt Oakham and all the good people there are ready to help you today. York Computer. Check them out at yorkcomputer.net. And don't forget, you can also use them for repair, new and used computers, customized computers. They do it all. One-stop shop for all your computer needs. York Computer, because it feels good to have peace of mind. Great song.
It's not on the list?
Not on the list. No, it's a good song. There's a lot of songs not on the list. I'm just a few.
I know, but I'm always double checking.
It's not a favorite song, but it's not. It's not on the list.
Steve Winwood.
Yeah,
roll with it.
There it is. Anyway, welcome back, Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK as we start our final half hour on a Tuesday morning. Don't forget the Revs back in action tonight at 6:15 airtime, 6:35 first pitch in Long Island.
2,500th game.
Isn't that in 2,500th game?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's 2007. The cornerstone of the stadium sits right out here where our office is.
It every morning. Yep.
And so you're reminded. I did the first game with Darryl back in 2007, so I remember it well. I have not done the amount of games that Darryl has done since then. Out of the 2,500 games that have been played, and as of tonight, Darryl has done all but 4. All but 4.
That also is crazy. So he's done 2,496
games. Wow. Isn't that a crazy? I mean, and you talk about and still has the verve and the excitement for it. I mean, he's incredible. So he's done them all, about 4, and they were for birth of children. That was it. Wow. So incredible stuff. I mean, Darryl had his reception up here in the 1741 Club, for heaven's sake. So, I mean, his life is invested here at the stadium. I think he is the longest. He and Cindy Burkholder are the two, I believe, longest-serving people here at the stadium since the very beginning. They were both here.
Wow.
In the very beginning. Cindy's still over there, and she just does a great job. And Darryl is kind of like he's like the Baron of the Manor, so to speak here. People look up to him. I remember when he was the kid starting out, because I was working with him. He was like a young guy, but he certainly
I remember that.
Great voice here in the community for sports, and Darryl Henry. 2,500th game tonight. Listen to it here. A little bit of history making on WOYK starting at 6:15. With that, we turn this morning to Eugene DePasquale. Good morning, Eugene. How are you?
Hey, doing great, Gary. I'm 2,500 games for the Reds. I cannot believe it. Incredible.
I know. And you remember the whole meandering river that led to them getting to that point. It was...
well, my first year in the State House was the year the Reds started playing.
Yeah, there you go. So you know a little something about that. Well, a lot of stuff going on today. And I wanted to just kind of kick it around a little bit if I could. I was reading a couple articles in the Wall Street Journal today. One about Democrats, one about Republicans. And the one about the Democrats, they have a primary today in Minnesota. And it says the Democrats are blaming each other over Minnesota's welfare fraud scandal. It says state embarrassment is a topic of debate for both parties ahead of Tuesday's primary. A lot of people remember that. And Democrats are lashing out at fellow Democrats over one of the nation's largest cases of pandemic-era welfare fraud theft that handed Republicans a potent example of government waste from Democratic mismanagement. Now, you can find some of that all around the country, but it was pretty bad there in Minnesota. As a guy who runs the state of Pennsylvania in terms of the Democratic Party, your thoughts about Minnesota and how all that one came down and what's going to come out of Minnesota today as a result of that?
Well, I don't know so much what's going to come out of that. I remember when I was the Auditor General, and we actually did an audit of this in Pennsylvania, right. And we found, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of, and please know I'm off slightly on the number, about 2,100 dead people that were getting quote-unquote welfare. Yeah. And what happened was the Department of Human Services was not doing a cross-check with the Social Security Administration to verify someone was dead. When we found that out as a way to clean up the system, who dropped the ball on that in Minnesota? I'd like to think, and I'd say this, I'd like to think that it was not intentional.
Right.
So whoever dropped the ball on that, dear God, how they did that, because it's actually pretty easy when you set up those various checks in place to catch it. Maybe it was because of COVID, people felt bad, whatever the reason is, it's unacceptable. Those benefits are there for people that need it and not for people that are illegally getting those benefits. So whoever dropped the ball on this is going to pay a political price, I'm sure.
One of the things that comes up, and this is more of a philosophical thing, Eugene, we talk about welfare, and people say, well, Republicans want to put more restrictions on that in terms of work requirements and so forth, and many times, and this is general, this is not all specific.
Right.
in general, Democrats do not. They want it to be a little bit easier. They want more things covered. Where do you stand? I mean, how do you what the idea of welfare in a community? We think about the idea of a hand up and helping people to get back on their feet sometime. But unfortunately, people say, well, there's generational welfare now and all that kind of thing. What's your take on that whole welfare conversation that we have and debate that we continue to have in this country?
I think it is probably a pretty fair general take to say Democrats are generally for a slightly or a more generous benefit for the people that need it, and Republicans probably fall more into the category of not, maybe because they would side more on the idea of like a tax cut to get people more of a boost. I mean, that's a generalization.
Yeah.
I will tell you the part that I think that the overall political rhetoric is dead wrong, though, is that I think the vast majority of Republicans and the vast majority of Democrats believe there should be some type of a benefit.
Right.
Okay? The debate would be the number, but some type of benefit. And also the vast majority of, again, regular, I'm not talking about Washington, D.C., where everyone yells at each other. The vast majority of Republicans and Democrats also believe there should be a check in place that is appropriate to make sure that the people that get the benefit are the ones that should get it. I think that is the line, and that we would obviously have a debate about what level of benefit and what's the best way to do the check. But I think 90% of voters fall into that category, regardless of their political party.
Yeah, I think, again, jumping away from the polar edges of this and talking about where most people live, you'd say, well, there should be a safety net in society, and yet it's a fine line. How long does it stay there? What is its purpose? Is it to raise people up and get them back on their feet again so we can become more independent? And then you have a whole lot of other variables in there. What's the cost of living? What are taxes like? We've got a lot of changes in terms of what people see as a living wage now. And you got all those different kind of things that are in play right now. And that certainly makes it a little bit more complicated an issue.
Yeah, and if you're serious about policy, I know you are, the cost of living is more in New York than, I'm just going to say, in say some parts of like Montana. Again, that's nothing against Montana. I think it's a beautiful state, but like it's just more expensive. And of course, somebody's going to email me a stat today that how expensive it is in some parts of Montana. I'm sure that's the case as well. But cost of living adjustments. Also, I think we also draw a line in this country, I think, and maybe even other parts of the world, between children, and adults on this too. We also draw a line between disability and people that are physically able. So there's all those characteristics that come into this line as to debating about what should be and how long. I think most people believe that if you're down on your luck and you're physically capable of working, there should be a relatively strict timeline for how long you get the benefit. Yeah. I think people are a little bit looser with children, and they're certainly dramatically looser, well, they are with children, and certainly people that aren't physically capable of working. I think most people fall into those categories.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe to some degree with the aged, that becomes a factor as well.
Correct.
Now, I also read a Wall Street Journal, and this is not a surprising number to me, but the Republican Party is losing its edge, this is the headline, with voters on the economy. Cost of living worries are eroding the GOP's image as economic managers, giving Democrats an advantage. Are you feeling that right now as we head toward the election? I mean, obviously, you're here in Pennsylvania. You're in charge of, looking at those kind of things. How much is that standing out right now with people that that the economy right now, which certainly sank Biden last time around as president, is certainly hurting President Trump and those who would support President Trump at this particular point?
People, a little bit of backtrack. First of all, I think the answer is 100% yes. In Trump's first term, even, people talk about his behavior, and it drives me crazy too. But the economy was doing relatively well. So I think what happens is, and we've talked about this on the show before, when times are going well, people will be a little bit more forgiving on people's behavior.
Right.
Now, his behavior is not getting a pass because people are not doing as well economically. And I think that was already teetering before what I would call the war of choice in Iran. But once the Iran and that started driving up the prices even more, I think the tariffs were putting him in a bad position economically because there was no sign that it was working. In fact, the sign was that it was actually driving up prices, and that was making his economic standing worse. But he is in the worst position as a political leader on the economy today than in any time in his political life. And I think that that has certainly given us as Democrats more of an opening to make an argument on how we are better for the economy. But there is no question that you can almost see it as like a Nielsen rating. Every time he drops bombs in Iran, every time the negotiations go south, every time the Strait of Hormuz gets closed, and the economic numbers get worse, people start to blame him. And and politically speaking, he's got no one to blame but himself for this one.
Well, it's the economy, stupid, has always been kind of the mantra.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, so you're looking at things like healthcare costs, price of beef, price of food overall, price of gasoline, obviously, Strait of Hormuz comes to mind, all those things. So here's, and this is the thing I think a lot of Americans are clamoring for, and I don't care if you're right, left, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, whatever you are. They're saying, okay, let's suppose that we take the premise that President Trump is not getting it right now, and obviously the economy is not going the way that he kind of thought it would go. So beyond just the we're not Trump party, which the Democrats have used for a while, what ideas do you have to say, okay, here's a better way to do it that is going to make your lot better as American citizens and make you feel better about the economy? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do think that what I'm making the case for, that at least in Pennsylvania, we've got to raise the minimum wage. We're the only state in the Northeast, including Maryland, and this is the one that surprised people, and including West Virginia. We're the only state that hasn't raised the minimum wage since 2006. So I believe that needs to change. I think we've got to find ways to make childcare more affordable. I think we should invest in our state colleges and state universities to a higher degree to make sure that we're holding down the cost of tuition. It's sort of like if we're going to give you money to these schools, now you got to at least hold down the cost of tuition for in-state students. That doesn't fix every problem in the world, but helps people at the margin make their life more affordable and where they feel like they've got some breathing room and they can try to strive forward. Okay, I think that's what we do in Pennsylvania. Nationally, I think the big debate's going to come from the party in the 2028 nominating process. Because right now, and what you're sort of hinting at is, Trump's bad, yes. But we as Democrats, if we're going to win the White House back, it's not just that Trump is bad. We're going to have to put an agenda before the American people that convinces them that we've heard them, we understand what's going on, and similar to when Bill Clinton pulled the party back in 1992, to make middle America believe we were going to fight from them again. I think the same thing has to happen in 2028 because one day, look, I am not naive on this. I think the Republican numbers and Trump in particular are in the toilet, but it's not exactly like we're loved either. We're going to have to deliver results if we're given power.
Well, and I think, I'm reminded of a call I took down at WBAL in Baltimore one day, and the guy said, well, Trump's ridiculous and all this kind of stuff, and he's outrageous, and anybody that follows him is outrageous. And again, you can agree or disagree on all that stuff. Right. But so I let him get to the end, and I said, I'm going to take a wild guess you're a Democrat. And he kind of laughed, and he got it a little bit. And I said, well, let's take the premise here for a moment that you're absolutely right, that he would never get elected any other time, I said, how bad is your side? This guy beat you every way, but
we lost to him twice. We lost to him twice and almost a third time.
Yeah, and the point being that what are your ideas? You let us down by not having ideas that were better than what he was offering. And so the point is, that's what I think Americans are clamoring for. You talk about policy. We want better policy that is going to work. And I think that's the key.
I have told younger people that want to get involved, whether they're R or D or anywhere in between, I said, spend some time at your Little League. Go to a high school football game and just talk to regular folks.
Yeah.
Get out of your ideological bubble. Listen to what regular people want. And they usually don't want all their problems solved. They just want things to be a little better. They don't think things are supposed to be super easy. They usually don't think things should be just handed to them. They just want things a little bit easier. It is a totally fair point that how Pitt and Penn State, and look, I teach at Pitt, are great universities, but now middle-class kids have been priced out of it. That's a problem.
Yeah.
We should address that. it is like that is it's not saying it should be free, but we should, middle class kids in Pennsylvania that are good enough students that can get into Pitt and Penn State should be able to afford it. Like, that's a problem that should be addressed. I'm just using that as one example.
No, I got it. And spouting politics is easy. Making policy is a lot harder. Good policy where people, and unfortunately, we never graduate out of the never-ending election into good policy these days sometimes. And I think we need to get back to that. Eugene, great discussion this morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you next week, my friend.
Hey, you got it, Gary. Hey, be well. Talk to you
Thanks.
soon. And, hey, congrats to the Reds on 2,500 games.
Isn't that something? That's great. Eugene Pasquale here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Do want to remind you that Jack Giambalvo is ready to help you out right now with a pre-owned car. Go to GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com and find out about the Giambalvo difference, because that's included with your purchase. Yeah, free lifetime PA and state inspections for you and anybody else in your family. 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. They're all ready for you on that. You also have inspection of the car, just up and down. They check everything before it even goes on the lot. That's what they do, because that's what Jack Giambalvo wanted. That's what John Giambalvo wants today. They want to make sure they live right here in their community. You see their faces. They're at the store you're at. They want to make sure they're accountable to you when it comes to having the gold standard for cars here. And they've got 278 used and certified used for sale cars up right now on their website at GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com. No worries, no hassle, no pushing you around. They are here to help you. You know what you want. You know if you want a sedan. You know if you want an SUV. You know if you want a van. You know if you want any of those kind of cars because of the needs you have. They're different for each and every one of us. Jack Giambalvo provides all of that right now. There are 6 great locations here in Hanover, New York, and they are ready to help you today. Check them out at GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com, and please, please, please tell them Gary Sutton sent you today. They want to be your summer road trip companion at Jack Giambalvo Family of Dealerships. final few minutes of the Gary Sutton Show this hour has been brought to you by Your Computer. Yeah, yourcomputer.net. And why yourcomputer.net? Because it feels good to have peace of mind. You know, when you think about managed IT services, I brought into a plan over there at Your Computer. And Walt Oakham, I don't know how many of you have ever met Walt. Walt is one of the most laid-back guys in the world. But one of the things about Walt is geared to service with a smile and an understanding that is pretty amazing. He and all the people who work over there, Nate and all the great group over there, are ready to help you today. And their mantra is you're going to get great service. That's exactly what you do. They have flat-rate managed IT services, 24/7 monitoring and cybersecurity. They do computer repair. They sometimes can remote right into your home and take care of it. You don't even have to leave your house. They have new and used computers available there as well. That's one of the ones sitting in front of me right now, a new one I buy about every few years. They will customize your computer many times. But the key thing is they're going to make sure that if it has to do with computers, you are up and running for your business and your residential. They deal with small business and residential on a regular basis. You can find them at yourcomputer.net or yourdigitalbodyguard.com. You could stop by and see them. They're at 2069 Carlisle Road out in the Shiloh area of York. You can give them a call today at 717-739-9675 and set up an appointment because they want to make sure that you are operating at top speed. Your Computer, because it feels good to have peace of mind. Tell them Gary Sutton sent you today.
It is Presidential Joke Day. How about one more?
Go ahead.
What's the most unfair thing about the U.S. presidential election?
I don't know.
Well, we get 50 choices for Miss America, but only 2 for president.
I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah. The York Revolution will be playing tonight. 6:15, Darryl will be on the air. 6:35 is the opening pitch. They're in Long Island. The second-place team, 4.5 games behind York as we start tonight. I think Costa is on the mound, who's been a very good pitcher for them. I think he's 7-3 so far, if memory serves, like a 4.7 ERA, but he's a good young pitcher and has had a great season with them so far. The Revs looking to really cement their grasp on first place here in the second half. They have the best record right now, the first team to reach 60 wins in the Atlantic League, 60-35 as they enter tonight's play. So you can listen to it. And more importantly, historic tonight, 2,500th game for the Revolution. 2,500 games, and really historic. Darrell Henry has done all but 4 of them. All but 4 of those games. I mean, that is amazing.
No doubt.
And so that's all going to be on tonight here on WOYK, Mark.
So nobody won the Powerball jackpot last night.
Which means you got a chance.
Tomorrow,
are you saying I got a chance?
Tomorrow night, probably closer to 950 million.
You getting your tickets?
So good luck. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right.
It's great entertainment. I can't wait.
You really enjoy that.
I do. I want to, wouldn't it be fun? And if it's not, at least I had a distraction, so to speak.
I could have been a champion.
I could have been.
Instead, I'm a bum. No,
which is what
on the waterfront. You're not. No, I think it is fun. I think the possibility you can't win if you're not in.
That's right.
Right? Which is why I won't win because
give you $1 million.
I know. But anyway, I admire your stick-to-itiveness. Exactly. Thanks to Mark. Thanks to you for joining us today. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock here on the Gary Sutton Show. It's 9 o'clock.